Hello, and a warm welcome to our Love Athletics special chat with Edwin Moses. The great US hurdler was in Santa Susana, Spain, at the AIPS Congress at the end of April to present his autobiographical film, 13 Steps. And we had the privilege to sit down with him for a chat spanning all aspects of his career on and off the track. Moses, of course, is known for his 4 world records and for his unbeaten win streak lasting 9 years, 9 months, and 9 days. But there is so much more to this amazing human being. Here we touch briefly on his accomplishments, both on and off the track. Enjoy.
Because athletes nowadays, they don't understand. Nowadays it's clear, it's published. Okay, maybe they also have appearance money, which is not that public.
But only the big people
totally
make
different.
money now. I was looking at the
This
dollar
is-
figures
this-
and everything.
Exactly.
And based on the money that we were making back then, we were making as much or more then
Yes.
than these athletes are today.
And especially for mid-range athletes,
Yeah,
it's so tough
there
now.
is no middle
Because there
class.
used to be a lot more meets.
Yeah,
And
they've cut
they
out the
could make.
meets.
So this is the problem I have with the 50,000, prize money that World Athletics is now giving to the medalists. This is going to even increase the gap. That's the problem I have with that. Because on one hand, yes, it's recognition for the Olympic champions, but at the same time. Okay, perfecto.
He was secretly filming, trying to get me to curse.
No, even though I did read in one of the articles about you that you actually got kicked out of the football team for fighting.
Yeah,
I can't imagine
yeah,
Ed
I was the
Moses
smallest
fighting.
guy. And
Oh.
they have punt return practice where you kick it and
Yes.
wait for the ball and then run it back. And I didn't catch the ball. This guy hit me hard illegally. And I got up, I was really hurt. And so then we reversed. He was catching the ball. When the ball came to him, I did the same thing to him that he did to me, and the coach threw me off.
Oh, so he
It was
threw
a white
you
guy.
off.
It was,
All
it was
right,
a
that
white guy
explains
that
things.
hit me. Nothing happened. When I
Nothing.
hit the white guy, I get kicked off the team.
Well, it's a good thing for us in athletics.
Yeah, yeah, I get kicked off
Yeah.
the team. But I was the smallest guy on the team, and that's when I went strictly into running. I said, no more football, concentrate
Yes.
on running.
Yes. But you were always juggling so many things in your life because, it was also concentrating really hard on your studies
I had to.
because that seemed to be like the priority. Athletics was,
that
kind
was
of fun, but it wasn't
it was
the
a
main
hobby.
thing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, because physics was the most difficult. Morehouse is a Ivy League caliber education, rigorous education, and physics is the hardest of all the programs there. And there were 75 of us that started first year physics, and there was 5 of us that finished.
75 down to 5? Wow, that's
No.
really crazy.
They went to medical school, chemistry, biology. They went everywhere,
But couldn't handle the physics.
And
They
math.
gave up.
yeah.
Wow.
Because if you're able to handle physics, you do math. It's math and physics
Yes.
go together. So I had no time. That's why I was so serious. I had no time to play around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
very
you were
serious.
also working in aerospace.
Yeah.
You had basically a full-time job, even
Yeah.
though you were a top athlete.
Yeah. And even then, it was illegal for us for General Dynamics to tell me, we'll pay you for your whole week, and we'll give you Thursdays, Fridays off so you can travel. I could have been banned for that at that time. The rules were so bad.
Yes, the
Yeah,
rules.
but I worked full time as an engineer.
Yeah.
When I graduated, and that's in the film too. Actual footage of these missiles and projects and submarines and all that we worked on. It's in the film.
The
We
rules are
found old
crazy.
footage.
They were crazy, so that's why I wanted to hear from you about the Athletes Trust Fund, how you helped to push that become a reality, which
Yeah.
started to change things. It wasn't quite professionalism yet, but it was like a
Yeah.
path towards
Right,
being
right.
recognized as professional
Right.
athletes.
We Ronaldo Nehemiah and I competed in the Superstars in 1981, and Dwight Stones had competed in the Superstars, but he had gotten banned. Dwight got banned because he just said, "I'm a pro and I'm keeping the money," and it was the old AAU, and they banned him. And then Ronaldo Nehemiah and I competed 2 or 3 years later. I think it was 1981. And so we came up with an idea with an attorney to create a trust fund so that we weren't technically taking the money.
Yes.
And so we created this legal vehicle, put the money in there, and then we extracted money as we needed it for expenses and whatnot. So we're the ones that really started the whole trust fund concept. That's how the whole thing started. I
Exactly.
still got all the documents and everything in my files.
Yeah, you
I
were
don't even
saying
think-
that you have loads of
Yeah, and
documents.
so all that didn't even make the film, but it's available for another version of the film to go more into, even if it's amateurism and changing the rules or drug testing or whatever it may be. There's just a lot still remaining.
So we'll get to the athletics, but let's talk a little bit about the drug testing then, because you were also chairman of the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency.
Yeah, well, before that, I was the chairman of the United States Olympic Committee's anti-doping back
Yes.
in the 80s. Right after Ben Johnson, that's when we started the out-of-competition testing.
Yes.
So that was 1989. It took WADA another 10 years to even come into existence. But Dr. Don Catlin, who you
Yes.
know, and he just passed away, by the way.
Yeah.
I actually interviewed him for the film as well.
Right.
So we have about 45 minutes of him talking about his experiences at the IOC and developing the drug tests and LA Olympics and all that. Not a lot of it actually made it into the film, but nonetheless, we have the information. It's probably his last, I know it was his last interviews, as I talked to his son about it. But it was a different era back then. WADA came later and USADA came later.
Yeah.
And then I was 8 to 10 years after USADA was born, that's when I came back in again. Yeah. From 96 until 2008 or so, I had no involvement in the drug testing when WADA first started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get to the athletics finally. I mean, this story is absolutely crazy that it was only in the spring of '76 that you
4
actually
months to the day.
tried a hurdles.
4 months to the day. But I was a good high hurdler,
Yes.
but I wasn't world class.
So you had the technique.
I was a good 400-meter runner.
So you just combined.
Yeah. The year before, my best 400 was 47.5. My second year of college in the spring, I ran 47.5. My best high hurdles was about 14.1 or 2, and I won the conference, small conference, Division III. I won the conference in both of those events, and I think maybe a relay or 2 as well. And then, so I went from 47.5 at the end of the season. And I had a job in Philadelphia working for an engineering steel company. So I trained in the summertime. I went from 47.5, the first meet of the year, the next year, 46.1. So that's a big drop.
Big drop,
And
definitely.
then I went from 14.1 and qualified for the Olympic trials with the 46.1, qualified for the high hurdles with the 13.6. From a 14.1 to a 13.6. That's like 5/10 from one year to the next.
Yes.
At the beginning of the season.
Exactly.
And then I ran the 400 hurdles, and I had never run. I ran, I think, one time before I ran like 53.1 or
kid?
something like that. No, the year before.
Oh, the year before.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I don't
right.
even remember the race. I got thrown in to get points.
Yeah, for the team.
Yeah, for the team, and I don't even remember. There's another guy who remembers it. I remember it was on a concrete track, like asphalt track, and we had those spikes. And I remember just the clawing from the steel spikes going into like running on the street. I remember that, but I don't remember anything about the race, how many steps I took or anything. And I think that was the only race that I ran that day because it was like a rest weekend for me.
So you weren't analyzing your races
So I
yet.
still had no experience going into
Of course, you
So I ran
couldn't.
50.1 the first time that I ever ran it.
Right.
Seriously.
No, that's really crazy.
So then that was March 27th, July 25th, like almost 4 months to the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It happened that quickly.
And then, of course, number 9 is kind of special for you. 9 years, 9 months,
I
9
didn't
days.
plan it that way. Just think if I would have not lost that day, then that whole...
Yeah, exactly. In a way, it's kind of, it would have been messed up if you had...
messed up my PR
yes,
plan.
yes. No, that's really amazing. 107 finals, 122 consecutive races.
Yeah. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I never thought about it when I was running. I just went out,
Yes.
prepared myself every day. I never thought about Harold Smith or Danny Harris or Andre Phillips. They were not a consideration
Yes.
at any point. Even in the race, when they were on the track, I knew they were there. They had their 48 inches, and I had my 48 inches, and that's the way that I looked at it.
I sometimes wondered how Harald managed to stay motivated because it was a bit tough.
He was
for him.
motivated.
Yes, well,
was
at least in
motivated.
Europe. No, and he was a really cool guy.
Yeah.
So that helped.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah,
not
we tried
too
to
easy.
interview him for the film, but he didn't want to.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't want to talk.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
I had the
think he'd be
producers
like
there
that.
from Germany. They were dealing with him.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know.
Oh, that's weird because I'm still in touch and he's always kind of cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
yeah.
He just didn't want to do the interview,
All right.
which is okay.
Yeah.
I have Karsten Warholm.
Yes.
He's
He's a good,
probably
fantastic
about 2 to 3
athlete.
minutes in the film.
Yeah,
which is a
because
long
there was
time.
some of it in the trailer.
It's right at the beginning of the film,
Right.
because I consulted with he and his coach back in 2017.
Oh, all
Before
right. So he
ever-
knew it was coming. Yeah, that was before because he came in. So
He
it was
had just
before
switched-
London,
Oh, yeah, he
before
had
the
just
World
switched
Championships,
before.
where he became the star.
Yeah. Yeah. He got to hear the secrets from myself and his coach. Yeah. Yeah.
And then in '81, you gave yourself a birthday present.
83.
Your last
83.
83. Your last
In
world
Koblenz.
record in
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I was overdue at that point. I should have run faster. I think I could have run with about a week's rest, because it was right after the World Championships, like a week or so later. I think there was Zurich, Berlin, maybe Cologne, Budapest, whatever it was. But if I would have had another training cycle,
Yeah.
that I could have done the proper kind of training that I needed to really peak again after the World Championships, I could have run 46.5 back then.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I was checking. I mean, you were running pretty intensively. It's not like, okay, 4 or 5 races a year and I keep my
No,
streak.
not like today.
It was really, really intense.
These guys today, I would have beat the hell out of them, because they can only run once every 3 weeks.
Right. So let's talk about
Yeah.
the guys from today. Are you okay with that? Because I'd like to have just a quick word from you on Karsten, on Rai Benjamin, and on the new kid from Jamaica.
I don't know about him.
No, okay, he got the World Under-20 record last year and he medaled. He was bronze at the World Championships. So he's a. But let's go with Karsten and with Rai Benjamin.
I'm trying to determine which one of those two is actually the best technician over hurdles. I think it's Karsten. But the problem all the time with the 400 hurdles is consistency.
Yes.
And only when you get consistency all the time are you going to run well. Karsten is very consistent because he always runs from lane 6 or 7. But if he got randomly put in lane 3 or lane 1 or lane 4, then that would change everything. Yeah. So we weren't able to choose our lane like that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's almost ridiculous that,
Yes, it is in a way.
that you're able to do that.
Yeah.
Just, I'm running in lane 7 wherever I go. Even in the Olympic Games, this comes up that way.
No, that's a little weird. What a coincidence.
Yeah. I think that's That kind of takes away from the randomness of the
Yes.
sport and being able to.
Yeah, Angela Taylor was in lane one, and that didn't prevent him winning, did it?
At the Olympic trials, I was
Yes.
in lane 9 3 days in a row.
Oh, all right.
And I walked out onto the track for the Olympic trials. This was 1984. And I said, I don't even want to know. I'm not going to look at the
Yes.
start list, anything. I'm just going to go out there. When I get to the track, and I'm going to ask the guy, what lane am I in? And they said, you're in lane 9. I said,
Ooh. Okay.
that's why I didn't want to know.
Right.
And it was supposed to be random.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's impossible for one guy to
Three
get lane 3
times
days
in a row, it's a bit weird. It definitely is a bit weird.
Yeah, yeah. But I didn't complain. I just won.
Yeah. Now, hopefully this year, because, I mean, Karsten was injured in 22, then last year, Alison Dos Santos was injured. So hopefully they're all fit again, because, I mean, the Tokyo final, it was pretty amazing. And now they can go take it maybe a little step further if they're all fit. And Dry
Maybe
Benjamin,
we'll
he's
see.
always there, but he doesn't medal, so he doesn't
Yeah.
get the big headlines,
Right.
does he?
That's right.
Because he's very consistent. I was looking at how many...
Under,
How many
under 47s.
Exactly, and he's very consistent.
Yeah. It's another Harold Smith.
Yes, yes, I guess so. I guess
Generationally,
so.
there seems to be one.
Yes,
He's got to prove that he can win
yeah,
and run. I don't think he runs enough. Running fast by yourself,
isn't the same.
no.
No.
And he has no fan base because he doesn't run enough.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
at the end of the day, people want to see you run. They don't care if you win or lose. They wanted to see myself and Danny Harris and Andre Phillips and all the guys that I ran against. They wanted to see whether I was going to win or lose. And although I won, even if I would have lost, they would still remember that.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned in the hall that you're almost more excited about the women's race.
I am.
Now, Sydney's coming back to the hurdles this year because she
Yeah.
took a year off to work on her speed on
Yeah.
the flat last
Yeah.
year. Femke has been progressing very, very well.
I think that race can go either way.
Yes, I think so too, because Femke has really improved. Okay, Sydney is always a very tough cookie. She's
Yeah.
not going to let go of the title easily, but that can be a really, really interesting one.
What happens when you run, let's say if Bob Kersey says, we're going to run 3 races and then we're going to run at the Olympic Games.
Yeah, yeah,
And everything goes accustomed to plan for those 3 races. And then you get to the Olympic Games, now you're running rounds, everything is different. You have no experience in making a mistake. That's the problem with the hurdles. You have to be able to react very quickly.
yes,
One mistake is likely to take you out. So I'd like to see the athletes who run more. I put more weight on the athletes who have more preparation,
Yeah.
have more races going in. To me, that gives them a better odds of winning. Just like Dos Santos in the World Championship.
yes, yes.
Everyone thought that Ry Benjamin or was Karsten? Yeah, all 3 of them ran.
Yes, but he was
injured.
coming back from
Yeah.
injury, so he kind of pulled
Yeah.
up in the last
Yeah.
5
And he had
meters.
run the most races.
Yeah.
He was the most consistent. He was a better hurdler. And that's when I picked him to win the World Championships, I was right.
Hey,
They asked me, they said, what do you think has happened? I said, if it was me and I was running, I would rather be Dos Santos than anyone else. I like his position from a competitor, and I
yes,
was right.
yes. I just have 2 quick last ones. The first is about Laureus, because I know that's a project that, the Laureus World Sport Academy is something you're rightly very proud of, and you were the first chairman. So what does that mean to you, the Laureus World Sports Academy?
I'm still involved with the organization. I'm the chairman of the U.S.
Yes.
Foundation only right now.
Yes.
They have Sean Fitzpatrick. And so I don't have to worry about 8 foundations. I just worry about the one. And that's enough because I think the United States Foundation is the biggest. We're going to be over 10 million this year alone. And that used to be the total of all the foundations
Wow.
at one point. So we've almost doubled in the last 3 to 4 years as we found new sources of money. So that's going really, really well. And I'm glad not to have to travel all over the world as much and go to as many
Yes.
faraway places. I get to stay at home.
Yes, you kind of enjoy staying a little bit more at home.
I do. I do.
Nowadays. Me too.
I do. Yeah.
And final one, of all your achievements on the track, with the trust fund in anti-doping, with Laureus, what is, in a way, if you had to pick one, what would be your proudest moment?
That's a difficult one. That's a difficult one. 'Cause, you know, the drug testing was very significant. Going after some of the higher name athletes and really putting USADA in a position where the athletes began to trust that an anti-doping agency wasn't going to have preferential treatment to a Lance Armstrong or something like that. But at the same time, Laureus, the fact that we've raised 250 million euro, 700 projects from start to finish, and 7 million kids that we've dealt with. That's a real legacy. That's a legacy that has life. All the rest of the stuff is situational. But those are human lives. So I think that's one of the biggest ones.
But we're still happy that you were also running
Yeah.
with all your achievements. And I
Yeah.
was very proud to be in Milano
Yeah.
in 1980 for your 47:13
Yeah.
world record. So
Yeah, and they brought a lot of footage out from Milan,
yes,
some of the meets in Europe. They got them from Spain, from England, Germany, Switzerland, some of the old Lausanne track. They have footage from all those races, some of which I had never seen before.
all right.
Yeah. So that was a bonus of working with a German company. They knew where to find.
Exactly.
They knew where to find the footage. Some of the footage from 16 Days of Glory we couldn't get access to. It was much too expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so
All right,
much,
thank you.
Moses. Really appreciate
All
you
right,
taking
thank you.
out the time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Ciao.
Good to see you again. I like those shoes.
So we hope you enjoyed this glimpse into the life of the great Edwin Moses. His autobiographical film, 13 Steps, is due out soon, and I, for one, can't wait to see it. A huge thank you to Edwin Moses, to filmmaker Alex Mas Alcoberro, who recorded this interview in Santa Susana, and to Nadine Hassan of the AIPS, who helped arrange it. Thank you all for watching. See you soon on Love Athletics.